What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about our springtime fishing tactics. Let's go. What's up, guys? We're back in the garage today. It's a pretty crappy day out. And as always, this is Bass and Bros. I'm Hunter.
I'm Jarrett.
And today we're talking about our early spring northeastern PA baits, lines, and setups. Let's get right into it today.
All right, guys. Like I said, we're going to be talking about our from ice out to late spring, summer, just going through the year here baits that we like to use here in the early season in Northeast PA. Let's get right into it. We're going to start out with the good old, right from ice out, the blade bait, guys. It's a known bait for cold water. Smallies, largies, they all love it. They come in for me, two sizes that I like to use are the 1/2 ounce and 1/4. They come in all colors and sizes. You can get so many different varieties of blade baits, but I like to stick with the golds and the silvers, very basic. So yeah, guys, blade baits, go-to for the spring for me.
One thing to add to those blade baits is keep it simple with your color selection. For us personally, I know gold if you got a little bit more muddy or stained water or you got some rain, and silver when it's clear. Just
absolutely,
keep
guys.
it simple.
There's tidal fisheries, not going to name any names, but maybe Northeast, River, Chesapeake Bay. That gold blade bait is a killer.
Keep it simple this time of year, man. Don't overthink these fish. Go out there and just throw these things and get it done. So, moving on into a little bit warmer water, you know, your water's creeping up to 50 degrees almost. Little finessey approach. I'm actually going to throw a tube. A lot of guys forget about the tube anymore because of the Ned rig. It kind of put the tube in the shadows, but this still catches a lot of fish. It's got a little bulkier approach too, and the nice part is, as these fish start to eat up on some of these crayfish that are coming out, this is a pretty good approach to go with. You know, you can fish it shallow, you can fish it deep, and it's a really year-round bait for me personally.
Yeah, the tube. Guys, a little more than a tube. You know, Hunter's a tube guy. Me? I hate the tube. Yeah, it works. I use it. It catches fish, guys. Everybody catches fish with the tube, but I hate the tube. I'd rather throw a Ned rig any day of the week, so I like to go to, for me, the tube option. They make a tube Ned rig bait. They also make the Tickler Z. This is my favorite tube imitator for a Ned rig. Also, another great cold water bait is, this is called a Chili Willy, made by Fit Baits. This is a phenomenal cold water bait. This bait is very slow in the water, has that slow, subtle movement to the tail. And this was known as a river bait. It was made by a guy who fishes Delaware River a lot. And I learned it from a close buddy of mine who's a guide on the Delaware River. And I brought it to the lakes, and I don't see many people throwing it, and I absolutely started crushing them. Also works great on a drop shot in the heat of the summer.
Moving on up, my personal favorite bait to throw from ice out to pretty much the spawn, I just can't get enough of it, is a jerkbait. I love these things, man. It just shows you so much about the fish, you know. You can fish deep ones, you can fish shallow ones. For me, I prefer the deeper ones, but you can really slow down and fish these slow. I mean, painfully slow, like jerk, pause, count to 30, look around, see the birds in the trees, and then maybe you got a bite and then jerk it again, you know? Or you can speed it up a little bit, a little jerk, jerk, pause type feel. But I just love these things, man. You can do so much, and the fish react to them so well.
Absolutely, guys. And then moving in from jerk baits, I mean, guys, obviously a jerk bait is a go-to in the spring. It crushes them flat out. I don't have the patience to throw a jerk bait like the tube. He likes throwing a jerk bait. I like throwing a swim bait imitator. This is the Mega Bass Dark Sleeper. You can fish just like a jig and drag it on the bottom. It's got a little, it's weedless because it hooks up here in the fin and it hides in there pretty well. and it takes a decent amount to get hooked there, but it's pretty weedless. You can drag this along rocks, along wood. You can swim it, that tail kick. Great cold water bait. And then you can move from this to any kind of finesse style swim bait. Then you can throw underspins, a little tiny Colorado blade like this one has, a little single blade. But many options, guys. A swim bait in any way, shape, or form on a net head, light jig head, can't beat it.
Now, one thing I'm starting to get into, thanks to Jared, actually, who, he doesn't like throwing a jerkbait. He loves to throw these little spy baits, dude. It's just got this little prop on there. You get a little shimmy off that in the sun, but it just, spins, man. This is great for cold water, in my opinion, especially clear water. It has to be clear for these.
It's a clear water bait.
But you can fish them so slow and just about any depth, depending on your line size. Fish can't resist this thing, just ever so slightly shimmying just past them like that. It's a killer in cold water for us. And you know what? Like we said, clear water, especially smallmouth, it's hard to beat that.
Absolutely, guys. And I mean, moving from the swim bait world, I mean, you got your, of course, you go to your Kitex. Our favorite size to throw, I mean, you got the easy shiners, your fat impacts. 90% of the time, I'm going to have a fat impact, whether it be a 2.8, 3.3, or 3.8. There's the three main sizes we carry. Earlier in the season, or if I'm drop shotting, I'll throw a 2.8 on a drop shot, or I'll throw a little easy shiner on a jig head and slow roll that. But another killer spring bait, guys, swim baits.
Now, as that water is creeping up again and getting a little warmer, something we both love to throw, man, and we can't get enough of it. Crankbaits. I love them. It's an old faithful DT6. Everybody's got them in their tackle box. It's hard to beat red in the spring to match those crawls and just the muddy water. But if you get the clear water situations, it's also great to have that little shad imitator. Dude, you can't beat it. Nice tight wobble, and these fish really do react to crankbaits as the water gets ever so slightly warmer, or you get that warming trend that we're going through here, even though it's pouring outside.
Yeah. And absolutely. And then from crankbaits, I mean, there's multiple different types of crankbaits you can throw. You got your flat-sided, you got balsa. You got your little finesse. You can go to your 3XDs. Crankbaits have a variety of sizes, shapes, colors, depth ranges. So you can get creative with that. There's many different ways to do it. But another one of my favorites, once that spring comes into play, is fish are moving up to spawn. They're feeding up from the winter. Hence feeding up, guys. They're moving up in the water column. So you want to throw baits that are up in the water column, suspended, or moving up. Reaction baits, chatterbait, white, can't go wrong, shad imitator, and a little finesse spinnerbait, guys. Absolute killers in the spring.
And one thing to be said for the chatterbait and the spinnerbait, as these fish flood to the shallows and start pushing shallow to spawn, they get around a lot of cover. These baits will come through that cover a lot easier than trying to throw a crankbait, and they'll make your day out there a lot more enjoyable instead of being snagged up all day long.
And guys, we all have them on our boat. Zoom flukes, guys. Great trailers. Throw them weedless on Texas rig. Jerk them across top of the water. Throw them on a Carolina rig. Do whatever you want with them. You can throw them all year long. But in the spring, they shine, guys. Go with a simple white color. Any kind of shad color in the spring. If you're in a bait, ball of bait, you can grab a scrounger head. Throw it on a scrounger head. Like I said, belly weighted swim bait hook. Do anything with them. A Zoom fluke. Gotta have them.
Now we're going to move into our rods and line sizes we like to use for these type of baits progressing into the year. I'm going to start right here with the 611 medium fast action Enigma HPT rod that you saw last video actually by us. Ironically, I actually have a swim bait on there instead of a jerk bait right now. But big important thing here is I have a 10-pound braid. This is a P-line braid to an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. For me personally, I just find I get a lot longer castability, and that 8-pound line allows me to get my jerkbaits a lot deeper this time of year, and that's big for me. The nice thing is, though, I can switch this up and I can throw a swim bait on it just like he would.
Guys, staying in the swim bait era here, or spinning rod era, I should say. For me, the 6.9 medium light, again, we went over this in the last video. HBT, that 6.9 medium light, I got a little Chili Willy tied on there right now. Great for Ned rigs, great for drop shot. Throw the spy baits on it. Yeah, guys, great finesse rod. Have to have it in your arsenal.
Now, one thing Jared actually got me into, and I already touched on it a little bit, is that braid 2 leader That setup just seems to work a lot better for us, and it allows your rods to do multiple different things. I can take that 10-pound braid and tie it to a 12-pound leader and throw a light Texas rig or a small jig on. It doesn't just have to be a jerkbait. It makes your rods a lot more multifunctional for you to get more bang out of your buck with each rod you have.
Absolutely, guys. That braided fluorocarbon is awesome, and its sensitivity is none other. You're not going to get that sensitivity if you're just using straight fluorocarbon. Also, the strength. That braid is just strong as can be. And another bright side is you don't have to spool up 4 times a year. Braid, you can have it on there for 2-3 years at a time. So that braid saves you a lot of money in switching out line like you do on your bait casters every year. So, and coming forward, guys, we'll have some more videos on tips and tricks of how to spool your reels and how to save money and save line and not spooling up a full reel of fluorocarbon. But like I said, we'll touch on that on a different video.
One more thing, though, to add to that braid, buddy, is the fact that we use that high-vis stuff. Because any given day, if you use that stuff, you're going to notice a lot more sensitive bites that you might not feel, especially on a windy day. You're going to see it on your line. It's going to help you catch more fish. Now, moving on setups here. I got a 7.2 Enigma HPT medium heavy rod. I just got it spooled up a little bit of fluorocarbon just for cranking, I got a 12-pound fluorocarbon on there that I'm going to throw a lot of my cranks on, or even my Texas rigs and small jigs this time of year, just to keep it simple. You really can't go wrong. You want to step it up and bump it to a 7.3, you can. I prefer the 7.2 that Enigma makes. It's a lot better for me cranking-wise, or even with the chatter baits and spinner baits.
Yes, that 7.2 has a nice soft tip to it. Also a great swim bait rod. You can really sweep into them, set that hook. And last but not least, guys, for me, what I throw my jerkbaits on is a 6/8 medium casting rod, and also what I throw my top waters and my blade baits. I love for the blade baits because you get that nice shorter rod, so you can nice quick snaps. Work that blade bait very effectively, as long as the jerkbait. I just have it spooled up with some 10-pound P-line tactical fluorocarbon. That is our line of choice, guys. P-line is awesome, and we love it. If you don't use P-line and you're looking for a new line to use, guys, I'd recommend you go check out P-line. They have a great lineup. They have everything from fluorocarbon coated monofilament, braid, fluorocarbon, straight mono. You want it, they got it. P-line, guys, go check them out.
One more thing I want to touch on is the good old blue tungsten Ned head. Super flat. And, you may have a little 1/8 ounce weight, but it gets you down there and you'll be amazed how much more of the bottom you can feel with a tungsten weight.
And also, guys, going back to baits here, if you haven't checked out Fit Baits, awesome company, manufacturer right out of here of PA, and very local to me. I know the owner, great guy, and these baits flat out work, guys. Go check them out, Fit Baits, fitbaits.com. Look them up on Facebook, Instagram.
They are awesome baits to have, and all this is awesome stuff to have, and we hope to see you next time on Bass and Bros.
Absolutely, guys. See you later.